The cab believed to be responsible for a deadly hit and run may have come from this area, and police are asking for your help. They're brand new condos here in Royal Oak that may cost more than your mortgage, but next, I'll tell you why they may be worth every penny. Some children may have been exposed to a dangerous chemical found in the soil at this popular park, which leaves some parents asking, how did this happen? Maybe you've seen these drones out and about, but soon you'll be seeing a lot more of them. That's because the laws that govern these drones are changing. I'm here at the Dearborn Ice Skating Center in Dearborn, Michigan, home to hockey players, pair skaters, and single skaters. But one sport you've probably never heard of. It consists of 16+ ice skaters on the ice at the same time, skating in complete unison. And that sport is called synchronized figure skating. Synchronized figure skating is a sport that has been on the world stage for many years, and Metro Detroit is home to several teams that compete both nationally and internationally. One of the most successful teams over the past few years has been the Crystalettes from Dearborn, Michigan. The sport itself is extremely demanding, but also incredibly rewarding. Once you've skated on a synchronized team, it's a hard sport to let go of, as evidenced by Crystalettes coaches Shannon Young and Holly Maluski.
Well, we were both Crystalettes when we were younger in 1970-something, and we went through the program as skaters, progressed through all the levels, and when we were in college, Shannon started coaching, went from one baby team to 3 teams, and then we joined forces, and we now have 11 teams.
11 teams, each consisting of between 16 and 20 skaters. That's a lot of skaters, which means there's a great deal of competition to even make the teams. If you do make the team and become a Crystalette, you have the chance of representing the United States on Team USA. The Crystalettes have had several teams in the past that have reached this elite status.
Such an honor. I think anytime you represent your country, even when we go internationally and maybe the years we didn't get the world team berth, but to be on the U.S. world team is an incredible achievement. It's the top 2 in the United States.
To be on a synchronized skating team, you have to be more than just a good skater. The training schedules can be grueling and the travel can be exhausting, but that doesn't stop hundreds of Metro Detroit skaters from competing.
I think it's a way of life. I mean, you sacrifice so much of time, money. You have to have so much tolerance of each other and situations, and oftentimes when they're skating, what's important to you may not be so important to me. I may not understand that you want to miss practice for your grandmother's 95th birthday, and what's important to me is I have this study group that's going to be preparing for my college final exam, and they just have to honor each other's individuality and then come together at practice, put everything else aside, and get the job done.
Getting the job done takes enormous commitment, but it's not all hard work.
Okay,
it's incredibly rewarding and a lot of fun.
Okay. Oh, baby! Oh, okay.
So if you've watched any of this year's Olympic Games, you'd know that skating is a very popular sport to watch. Currently, the International Skating Union is deciding whether or not they want to put synchronized skating into the Winter Olympics. So, Crystalettes, what do you have to say? 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics? You heard it there. Reporting from Dearborn, Michigan, I'm Spencer Thomas. At Fred Astaire Dance Studio, they believe that everyone should feel the pure joy of dancing, an ideal that has been brought to life right here in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Cheryl Angelelli understands the rigors of world-class athletic competition. As a swimmer, she competed in 3 Paralympic Games, winning gold and silver medals in Athens and Beijing. So when she decided that she wanted to start a wheelchair ballroom dance program here in Michigan, adapting to a completely different sport came easily for her.
When I started dancing, it was really different for me because I came from a sport where I was a single participant. It was just me competing and training and racing, and so it was difficult to now have to work with a partner. And so it takes a lot of trust, and it takes a lot of communication and connection.
Cheryl's partner is Tamerlyn Gattarelli, and the program they've created is called Dance Mobility. Once a month, Cheryl and Tamerlyn, along with a dozen other dance professionals, instruct people with disabilities on the finer points of ballroom dancing.
Wheelchair ballroom dancing has actually been around since the 1960s. It originated in Sweden in 1968 as a way to provide recreational opportunities for people who were in the rehabilitation process. And then in the 1970s, they had their first wheelchair ballroom competition. So it is very, very popular in Europe and in Asia, and it is slow to grow here in the United States. And we're hoping through our participation in the sport and what we're doing here at Fred Astaire with Dance Mobility that we can grow the sport and it becomes more popular.
For those of you who are thinking about trying ballroom dancing but are afraid you don't have what it takes, don't worry. The only thing you'll need to bring is your wheelchair. And Dance Mobility can provide a custom-made dance chair if you'd like to try something a little more advanced.
So people come to the class, they have an option. They can use their own chair if they're comfortable in their chair. We do have some dance chairs for people if they would like to use a dance chair. And just their experience will be a little bit different if they use a dance chair, because obviously the chair is built for dancing.
With the success of wheelchair ballroom dancing, the Dance Mobility program has now expanded and is offering classes for both amputees and stroke survivors.
We always say dance is for everybody, and so there are no limitations on the dance floor, just possibilities.
Here at Fred Astaire Dance Studio, you will find people from all different walks of life, able-bodied and people with disabilities, all because of one reason: they love to dance. So if you love to dance, come on out every Saturday of the month for free classes. From Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, I'm Spencer Thomas. Detroit is known for its rich music history, from Motown to techno to classic rock and roll. We are also known for smooth jazz, and tonight we're going to give you a little taste of that. Alexander Zonchek has been performing the music that he loves for audiences for the better part of 3 decades. From huge music festivals to small, intimate venues, Alex and his band have carved a niche in an exploding music scene here in Detroit. With literally hundreds of bands playing dozens of different venues across the city every night, you might think that finding enough talented musicians to meet that demand might be difficult. For Alexander, it really hasn't been a problem.
Detroit is one of the greatest music cities in the world. So finding amazing musicians to support you and to be part of your band is not difficult in Detroit. We've got so many of them. My band tonight is Chris Kodish is on keyboards. He's got his own band. He makes records. He records with other people. He teaches. We've got James Simonson on bass. James Simonson tours with Betty LaVette, the great blues soul singer. He works in a band with Chris called the Brothers Groove. We've got Chris Kurzawa, who teaches and plays all over town. Jeff Kennedy, who works with just about everybody in town, with Thornetta Davis and with Kimmy Horn. So they're all first call guys. And they're guys that I use a lot.
The music scene here in Detroit is starting to get some well-deserved recognition, and bands from all across the country are coming here to be a part of it. And that means seasoned artists as well as singers and musicians that are just starting to break into the national spotlight.
And tonight our special guest is an amazing up-and-coming singer, and they're from New York. It's Lindsay Webster, and I don't want to leave her husband out, who's a big part of that team. They co-write their songs together. He's her keyboard player, Keith Slattery. So, you know, it's R&B-ish, it's jazzy, it's pop, and for us it's exciting because it's the first solo vocalist that we've had on the show. The audience is in for a big treat.
With Detroit's long history of producing incredible music talent, one has to wonder what it might take to make a living making music in Motown.
The inspiration is really, really easy for us. If you're a real artist and you love to produce and you love to, you know, not only do your own music, but, you know, work with people like Lindsay and those other guests that I mentioned, the inspiration comes every week. And if all of that wasn't enough, what can be more inspiring than, you know, getting to the point in your life that what you love to do and what you do for a living are one and the same? I mean, they really are. We're all blessed to be getting away with this.
It's no secret that Detroit is making a huge comeback, and nights like tonight show that music is a big part of that. Reporting from Detroit, Michigan, I'm Spencer Thomas.